Hi, this is the Q&A that I said I was going to do. If you weren't aware of this, then you should follow me on Twitter. I might do this again. Not very frequent though. I may do this during halfway through 2018, so it's like a 6-monthly thing. But yeah, the way I'm going to do this is some people asked more than one question, which was totally fine. That wasn't exempt from the rule. You could ask as many as you like. But 3 people asked more than one question, so we'll get them out of the way first, and then after that we will proceed to the one-offs. So here we go. Okay, we have, well, I have 4 screenshots from Michaela at DK Retro. How you doing? How is it to be friend with DK Retro? English is a little rusty, but it's okay. I know exactly what you're talking about, and it's pretty cool actually. You're a very fun person to talk with. Wish we could hang out one day. By for the gods though, that's probably not going to happen. Because, And would you be a Sega fan if you could do it all over? Or, are there any fan base you'd rather belong to? So, probably not, no. This is probably the best fan base I think I can belong to. There's a lot of fan bases out there. Actually, no, I think probably Capcom. If I wasn't a Sega fan, I think I'd be a Capcom fan. Yeah, definitely, because those I have a very strong affinity with Capcom. I love their stuff. But the reason why I'm so Sega affiliated is because it was there from day one. A lot of their stuff just happened to hit me on the way to growing up. If I were to be pushed over to any other system, whether it be Nintendo or something or other, I would probably be really drawn to Capcom stuff anyway, because I am drawn to Capcom stuff anyway. Regardless of what system it's on, like Mega Man, Street Fighter, all that stuff, all the stuff in between. I love their stuff. And they weren't console exclusive, Capcom. They gave everybody a little bit of something. But the reason not Nintendo though, because I love Nintendo, but a lot of their stuff just irks me. A lot of their stuff, it's not something I don't want to get into it too big, but there's something about Nintendo that even though it's a great company and they make some good stuff, the community and the company itself seem to be a little shady. There's something not quite right. It's probably my paranoia, but yeah, no chance. It'd probably be Capcom. And yeah, I would do it all over again, absolutely. Do you think games are better now and then? Only one word answer. This probably is, do you think games are better now than then? One word answer. Yeah, they are better now. Yes. It's a tough thing to answer, tough thing to explain. Whether we agree or disagree, what is happening right now probably is the best time to be alive for games. Because right now we have, well, we think we've worked out all the bugs to make something good. And, you know, 7 times out of 10 that happens. We do get a lot of good stuff. But the thing is, when you do something right, people don't tend to notice. And when the 3 times out of 10 come out of nowhere, the bad stuff, that gets all the attention because people love to complain. But when the good stuff comes out, it just gets left unnoticed because people are just enjoying it. And that's pretty much it. Games back then are good. Games back now are good. Everything in between were good. But for some reason people just love to remember that 3 out of 10 because, I don't know, getting angry and shouting seems to have validity over why you can accurately describe why you love something. So yeah, I think they're better now. But, you know, that makes sense. The more you do something, the better you become at it. We've been making games for almost 40 years now. You know, you think we start to understand what makes something good. And we're sort of understanding that. We're getting there. We're getting there. Favorite Sega game to hate? 06, I'm afraid. Yeah. I love it, but I hate it. I love it because if you've got some friends over and your entire evening is just set on playing the game and ripping on it, pointing out all the flaws and just laughing at it, then it's fantastic. But I hate it because how the hell do you mess up something like that? Imagine if Mario got something like that. It's so ugh. Which console would you date and which would you marry? A little bit of an inconsistency there, but I think that's what you meant. Which console would I date and which would I marry? I assume... Well, you didn't put Sega console, so I'm going to take advantage of that. I would probably marry the Dreamcast. Probably because it has a lot of things that I'm not aware of. A lot of new things that other systems will never have. It's a very unique thing. It's very well aware of how to take care of smaller software and hardware within its own controller. So if new software were to come, it would know how to take care of it. Has basic understanding of how to use the internet, so it's intelligent. And nicely designed too, good to look at. And its library of entertainment is vast and very, very broad. Something for everybody. But I would date... let's see. I'd probably date the Philips CDI, you know? Because it's got nothing on there that's worth investing into. There's not many games or pieces of software that you would investigate. However, there's a lot of things about it that a lot of people haven't discovered yet. Like, there's still things now that people are uncovering, doing ROM hacks and homebrews, of finding the capability of the hardware itself. So I feel like if the Philips CDI was a person, I would like to date it because there'd be a chance that I may uncover something too. It would be interesting. It'd be more of a... yeah, out of curiosity only, I would date Philips CDI. Absolutely. Why haven't you completed more SG-1000 games? If it's less than 5, you must complete Wonder Boy or Ninja Princess. True fact. I stop now. This is the last question from Michaela. I'm working on it, actually. I was thinking about this. When I was revamping the Sega Critic series, I was thinking to myself, I have not done a damn thing with the SG-1000 at all. I've played the games in the past through emulation, because I'm not buying the console, because that's just a witch hunt I don't want to get into. So I think I'll just download some ROMs and practice and do some Let's Plays of them, and maybe do a couple of Sega Critics on it. Maybe with the hardware itself, and maybe a 10 favourite SG games, or something like that. I will do something SG related, and I'll definitely do some SG-1000 games on a Let's Play. Definitely. There's already a couple in my mind already. But yeah, I'm working on it. 2018 will have SG-1000 in the mix. I promise you that. Okay, the next 3 questions, or the next 3 batches of screenshots come from Brandon Green. That green dude, 95. What is your favourite non-Sega fighting game? Street Fighter, my friend. Nothing specifically. I just like the Street Fighter franchise. It's very good. Apart from, you know, the very first Street Fighter 1, because that game is so rusty, but everything past that, they've pretty much nailed it. Every game they released has been fun, and they managed to juggle up their systems so that each Street Fighter manages to be different. So each game isn't exactly the same. They've all got their own feel and pace and quirks to the engine. So there's a lot of variety considering how many they've made. It's very curious. Not like Virtua Fighter. I love Virtua Fighter, that is my favourite fighting game franchise. but each Virtua Fighter just feels the same, but better, if you know what I mean. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the bits in between. It all feels like they started, and each installment just gets better and better and better, and more refined, more shiny. And I can't wait for the next installment if it happens, because if Virtua Fighter 6 happens, it's gonna fucking explode everything, and it's gonna knock everything out of the water, because it'll be Virtua Fighter 5, which is already amazing, but better. So I can't wait. But yeah, Street Fighter, my friend. Street Fighter. Also, will you do a Sega Critic episode on the Yakuza game? Yes! But the reason why I haven't done one yet is because those games are massive. If I were to do one, it would take, I would say, roughly 4 or 5 months to complete a Sega Critic about a Yakuza game. So, you know, asking this question, you've actually set me a goal. I feel as though I should try and do at least one Yakuza game this year. I will do games that are easier to review in between whilst I do a Yakuza game. I'll start with 0, because that's like the prequel to all, so it'll be a nice starting point. But at some point, yeah, Yakuza 0 Sega Critic will happen in 2018. But like I said, it's a big job, because those games are huge. So that's why I haven't done one yet, and the reason why it's probably going to take a while. I will do it. It's just going to take a while. Have you played Residents of Fate? It's a JRPG published by Sega and developed by Tri-Ace. Yes. Yes, I have. I have played that game. It's flipping incredible. Like, the combat system is so much fun. Just flipping around, shooting everything. It's great. I would like to do a Sega Critic on that, but like, again, it's a big game. There's a lot to talk about, so it's going to be one of those ones that'll take a while. Don't know if I'll ever do it soon, because to tell you the truth, as much as I like Residents of Fate, I've not thought about it in a long time. It's quite forgettable, well, to me at least. I love the game, but when I finished it, I had no urge to go back. Like, I've only ever played it once. I don't know, that might just be me. I'm not sure if there's like a replay value thing, although when I played it, it was when it first came out, and I was a very different person back then. So maybe if I ever play it again, I might see something else that, I don't know, maybe the new me will appreciate. Okay, also, there are many Sega titles that are sadly dormant, yes. Which dormant Sega IP would you bring back for the new generation? Panzer Dragoon. Okay, if I was in the top chair of Sega, if I was the man that said, you are going to do this, and no one could tell me no, and it was happening, I would create a remaster collection of Panzer Dragoon 1, 2, Saga, and Orta in a big collection pack, digital and physical, for all the systems, like PC, Windows, Linux, OS, Switch, PS4, Xbox One, just all the big ones currently at the time. And then, regardless of how much money it made, I would create a new Panzer Dragoon RPG, brand spanking new. I would like to make it completely unrelated to the timeline that is currently set within the universe. Like, well, not unrelated. Like, I'd like to make it within that universe, that area, but maybe in the future, maybe past Orta. You know, there's a lot more stuff to play with then, because it's in the future, more people, technology, blah, blah, blah. It'd be great. That's what I'd do. Panzer Dragoon, absolutely. Absolutely. But if I couldn't do Panzer Dragoon, then it'd be Knights. Okay. One can stay, the other has to go. Shenmue or Yakuza. Yakuza can go. Not because I hate the franchise, but because it's done. And I think that's quite a logical step, because Yakuza 6 is the last game that will have Kiryu Kazuma as the main protagonist. That'll be it. That'll be 7 games. well, 8 if you count the Dead Soul, is it Dead Souls? I can't remember, there's a zombie one that's a spin-off for the PS3. Yeah, 7 or 8 games featuring him, and Yakuza as itself, 8 games. Wow. And Shenmue's only got 2, and it's not even done yet. Not even finished. Yu Suzuki never even finished it. We're getting 3 this year. Yeah, Yakuza can go as far as I'm concerned. It's done. I love the franchise. It's sad to see Kiryu Kazuma, fucking hell, I'm getting all the K's names mixed up with other franchises. But it's sad to see him go, because, you know, if you're like me, you've played him from the very beginning, it's like, holy crap, you know, you've been all this way with him. I felt the same when I played the last Metal Gear Solid game, like 4. There was so many feels with that. So I'm gonna get the same feels there, but it's over. You can't keep something going forever. Not something like Yakuza, not something with a complicated line like that. It's too in-depth to keep it alive forever. Stuff like Mario you can keep alive forever because it's simple and it's cartoony. It's meant to be something you can just play with and have a good time, but Yakuza is very different. It's like movies. It's like a movie game, but done right. It's done. It's done its purpose. And it's almost finished. And I can't wait for the remasters as well to come, so that every one of them can be on one system, and that will make me very happy. And Shenmue needs to stay and finish. Shenmue needs to keep going until Yu Suzuki can finish the story. Then it can rest. It's been too long. Finish it. Finish the damn story. Kate at Esper Dreams. What game do you wish be either remade in current gen or port over? Shenmue 1 and 2! Come on! Fuck! Come on! 3's coming out this year! Shenmue 1 2! Just port it or HD it. Do one or the other. Come on! Sega! Do it! Come on! What game got you into gaming? Sonic the Hedgehog 1 for the Master System. I don't remember seeing it for the first time because it was always there. My parents had a Mega Drive and a Master System before I was born, and when I was born, my mother, during her resting period when she brought me back, would sit me on her lap and play Sonic 1, and I would just watch her. I would watch the TV and watch her play, and when I was old enough to play it myself, I did. Sonic 1. It got me. Oh! Here's a little tidbit for you. My first word was Sega, because every time she booted up the system, you know, it goes Sega, and then being an impressionable newborn with all this information just flooding into your head, and, you know, kids mimic what they hear and see. I did. Weird that, isn't it? Okay, now we're moving on to the one-offs, the people that only asked one question. Okay, Grumpy Retro Gamers. They asked, what are your views on CEX for retro collecting? Also, any notable experiences, good or bad? Mostly bad, and I think CEX should stop, and I think we should let people know they shouldn't sell their games to CEX. Their old games, at least. I'll tell you why. Because once upon a time, in a land not too far away, I was trundling along outside of a CEX and I saw a dumpster, and I noticed there was a Saturn sticker sticking out of the dumpster, and being a nosy Pete, I opened the dumpster and there was a bunch of games in there that just weren't selling. A lot of them were garbage games, like shovelware, but still, the point is, you shouldn't destroy history like that, and I'll guarantee there are probably other CEX stores that do that. And I saw a copy of Virtual On for the Saturn in CX not too long ago, actually, for £40. Outrageous price. Then I went to visit my guy, where I get my games, and he had Virtual On, House of the Dead, and Gex. And all of those together were £15. You know, I'm sitting here like, what's going on here? You know, It pisses me off, is what I'm saying. I've only had bad experiences with CEX. Not even with retro games, even with modern stuff. I hate that stop. I hate that shop. I hate it. I don't want to go back. And if I do go back, it's only for stuff that was last gen, because they do not care about that at all. I picked up a copy of Ultimate Castlevania Lords of Shadows Collection, which is Castlevania Lords of Shadows 1 and 2 plus Mirrors of Fate HD Remastered, together all for $5. They don't give a damn about the last generation. Anything older than the last gen, they price over top, and anything new gen they price accurately because it's the law. CX can suck my dick. Snowy Kitty at Gaming Writer, how'd you kill the bird? I was doing a Minecraft stream, and on the top of my house there was a parrot, and it was just sitting there. I think it was a bug, because they're supposed to spawn in the jungle and my house was in the desert. And then you told me that if I made cookies and fed it the bird, it would be tamed and I can have it as a pet. I did exactly that. I went all the way to the jungle, made some cookies, which took about half an hour, fed it the bird, and it died instantly. You did that. You did that to me. You knew what was going to happen, and you did that to me. That's how the bird died. Uncle Shunt. Good name. Do you feel it's unfair for Xbox players will miss out on Shenmue 3 if it releases? Xbox helped bring Shenmue 2 over in the day. I do feel it's unfair. But I feel, though, it's unfair regardless of this topic. Shenmue 3, yes. It should be everywhere for everyone. But I feel the same way about every game. Back in the day when games were just starting out, when it's just an entrepreneur franchise, not franchise, an entrepreneur business, when Sega and Nintendo were, you know, first starting out, exclusivity was prime. It needed to be existed because you needed something like, don't go with them, come with us, we've got better stuff, we've got different stuff, we're different. That made sense, but now it's such an all-inclusive business that all you have to do now is talk to a publisher and your crap is there. It makes no sense now that everything can't be on everything except for Nintendo, because they're like the Disney of gaming and they can say and do what they like. You know, they've earned the reputation. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I would like to see Shenmue 3 and 1-2 HD, if it happens, on everything, so everyone can play it. Because everyone deserves it. Everyone should have it. Because not everyone has everything, not everyone has every system. But if it's on everything, then everyone can have it. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I hope that made sense. Insert Coin says, Casey, what is best in life? Be generous with your time to others. Take their lives at the same pace as yours. And take care of yourself with a pinch of risk. That's what's best in life. Ollie of RGG asks, does my butt look big in this? Ollie, we've been over this. Your ass looks fantastic, magnificent even, no matter what you wear. Alright, you've sent me the pictures, I've given you the feedback, you don't need to keep asking. Just stop being so goddamn self-conscious. Work it, baby. Underscores asks, did you notice that I forgot to change my title picture in the winter settings? I did. I was very annoyed. You know, I said to myself, I sat there and I saw your picture and I was like, he hasn't changed it. He said he would, he hasn't changed it. I got real mad. I drank so much rum that day just to quench my that was a rough time. Megatron's Fury asks, if you were stuck on an island with cool mint matchmakers or after 8 mints, which would you consume first? I tired of social media retro gaming conversation, so I choose a confectionery based discussion. Hashtag I play by my rules. Cool mint stakers. Cool mint shit no. Cool mint matchmakers. Cool mint matchmakers. Cool mint matchmakers. Oh fuck. Those The sticks with the crunchy mint crystals. I would rather eat those. Because I don't like the goo in the After Eight mints. I like chocolate, because I like dark chocolate. But if the mint was in the chocolate, so it was like a small little brick that you could crunch on, I'd eat those. But that goo inside the After Eights, nah. I don't agree with it. I'd rather eat the matchmakers. Christmas? Oh, I get the pun. Gaming UK from Maz Gaming UK says, if you could bring back one Sega console for classic makeover, much like the NES, etc., which would you choose and why? Oh, only one. That's not fair. Okay. I want to say Mega Drive because it is the most well known, it will sell the most, and most people have memories of the 16-bit Sega. However, with the reputation that it has with so many clone consoles trying to do the same and effing up and just screwing the whole thing over, it might be risky to release another one of those things in this current time. So I would say Mega Drive Classic, but it seems to be a bit risky, a bit too risky. So I guess I would say Master System, because you got to start somewhere, and Nintendo started with the NES Classic, so why not have the Master System Classic? And if that sells well, then you've earned a reputation. These manufacturers and hardware makers have showed that they can emulate the hardware perfectly for a Mini. And then when it sells and it's got the reputation, and people ask, what about the Mega Drive or Genesis? Then release that. That makes more sense to me, so yeah. Yeah, Master System, then Mega Drive, because that seems to be how the world works. Sequels follow up, get more money. Okay, I like this one a whole lot, simply because he asked it in a GIF, and I only have 2 pictures of it. But Francesco asks, Dear SEGA PIT, which is your favourite Sega console? Fuck if I know. They are all so unique. Like, it's not like a Nintendo timeline. Nintendo has the same thing over and over again, just built up for a better audience, and not a better audience, sorry, built up for a better graphical capability with the hardware. Like, you will always have the same basic Nintendo properties in the timeline of their consoles, just built up in a different way. With Sega, they didn't do that. Master System has its own flavour of games, and its own flavour of time of Sega. So does the Mega Drive, so does the Saturn, so does the Dreamcast, so does each and every generation that came after that. Sega has its own flavour regarding to its decade. It's very interesting, and I want to write a book about that because no other company seems to do that. Sega is very interesting in that regard. So to answer this question would be to also answer which was my favourite era of Sega. And it would have to be the Saturn. The Saturn is incredible. Such a shame it didn't do well. It had the balls to be the best, and it had the balls to be the best. Have you seen its library? Holy shit. But because of the stigma, it sold poorly, which is such a shame, because if Sega's reputation was grand and wasn't, you know, sullied by the 32X and the Mega CD, then maybe Sega would still be around, perhaps. Well, making hardware. Actually, I don't think so. I think they still would have backed out, because they saw what was coming. They saw what was coming. Grim Glenn asks, do you think Sonic Team will be disbanded after how well Mania did in compared to Forces? No, they won't be disbanded, but I do think something will happen. I think Sonic Team will go under a new rebranding of staff, or they will have an external supervision that will drive them into another direction. Christian Whitehead. You know what, I don't know why I whispered that. I think what will happen is Sega will not do this again because it cost a lot of money, and it's very lucky that Mania got the money back. They split the division up, gave Christian Whitehead and his team Pagoda Western Headcanon to make Sonic, and then they gave Sonic Team to make Sonic as well, and both cost millions to make. Both. Okay? They're not going to do that again. They don't normally do this. The reason why they did this is because they wanted to see which would sell better in the market so they know which direction to take Sonic next. Now, they're not going to completely disband an entire division because of one F-up, because if that was the case, then it would have ended in 2006. So, what I think is going to happen is there's going to be a new rebranding of staff in the Sonic team, and then there's going to be a subsidiary... Did I say that right? A a higher up class of staff that will supervise Sonic Team in the right direction. So I think what will happen is there's going to be an elite group, maybe Christian, maybe not Yu Suzuki, God I wish, a Christian Whitehead and who's the guy who keeps screwing everything up? He's been there since 2000 and... not 2000, he's been there since 92. How the hell have I forgotten his name? The head of Sonic Team, I forget his name. That's how much of an impact he's made on me. But I feel as though him and Christian Whitehead will probably be the supervisors of the team, because right now it needs some form of solid direction, because it seems like they're just running around like headless chickens. That's what I think will happen. Drink a Burr and Play a Gurm asks, what Nintendo franchise do you wish got the Sega touch? A la F-Zero GX. Ooh, good question. What would Sega be very good at making? It made sense that they made F-Zero GX, because Sega has a very strong history with making very good racing games. So it made sense for them to do that. But what would Sega be very good at making else? What is something that Nintendo has that Sega could benefit from making? Did I say that right? Because I'm thinking I may have got the names mixed up. You know what? I'm going to go for it. I was sitting here for a good 10 minutes looking at my shelf, seeing which one they could go for. And I would like to see Sega tackle Pokemon. Hear me out. I don't want to see Sega touch Mario because that would just be fucking weird. Some things are just not meant to happen. Zelda, it's fine. It doesn't need anybody. Kirby, again, fine. Doesn't need anybody. Donkey Kong, all of these franchises, Metroid, they're all fine. They don't need anybody. Nothing new needs to be breathed in because they're all solid. And the games they've released in the past have all been great, more or less. Pokemon, however, has been stagnant for years. For a very long time. Ever since Pearl and Diamond, they've been in the same position forever. It's only recently that they've managed to shift things up a little bit, and it's only by a little bit. Only by a little bit. It's more or less the same game, it's the pacing's different, that's all. And they've put more emphasis on story. It's not much of a shift up. It's a little bit of a shift up, but not much of it. I would like to see what Sega could do with Pokemon. Because Sega are very good at making RPGs. Every RPG Sega have made, it's been fantastic. More or less. I can think of one or two that didn't do too well. But the rest have been great. Give Pokemon to Sega of Japan and see what they can do with it. I would be very interested. I have no idea what would happen, but that's exactly the point. What the hell would they do to it? What the hell would Sega do to Pokemon? And I don't have a clue. That's exactly why I choose that franchise, because it would be very interesting to see. Very interesting. Super Jazz asks, what games are you planning on reviewing? Ooh. Well, if you've watched my latest one, you know that something Game Gear related's coming. I don't want to say what's after that, but I'll give you 3 what's on my mind. I'm thinking about tackling Valkyria Chronicles, because I love that game and it needs some love. I'm thinking about doing a dual video, which is, I want to do Clockwork Knights 1 and 2 together, considering it was meant to be together. And maybe Samba de Amigo for the summer. I'm thinking those, because those games lately have been itching my whistle, so I want to tackle those. Vectra asks, Why do people still say Sega don't make good games? Because they're stupid. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but they are ignorant, uneducated, pretty much. If you just Google search Sega, which, you know, is an easy task to do, and look at what they've been look at what they made in 2017, that statement becomes so irrelevant that it just doesn't even bother. The only two bad games Sega released that year were Valkyria Chronicles Azure, which wasn't even bad, it was just boring, and Sonic Forces, which again wasn't a bad game, it was just boring. And everything else was stellar. Everything else was fantastic. What a good year. So I don't know. I guess the simplest answer would be idiocy, learnt behaviour, ignorance, uneducated, lazy, opinionated, fools. There you go. I mean, it really doesn't take long to look this stuff up, and when you do, you'll realise that they still make good games. Yeah, there was there was a law at some point where Sega was really crap. I know, I remember that time. I was there. We all were. It was horrible. But they're out of that slump. They've been out of that slump for a while, since 2014. More or less. 2014 was the first step. But that's when it started to turn. They're on the roll. Last year proves that. Hopefully 2018 will be even better. But yeah, I do not know why. People are dumb. Jojo at Empress asks, what franchise would you like to see as a cereal or gummy sweets? Oh crap. I would like to see Katamari as a cereal, because the little, like the Katamari itself, the thing you roll around, could be the cereal balls, like little cereal chunks, and you could have marshmallows as the little marshmallow pieces as the cousins, the little the prints and stuff like that, or stars and stuff. That would be so much fun. And I don't know, you don't. And it seems messy and stupid, but you get some guy, me probably, or some kid, just getting the tiny Katamari and just, I don't know, turning the rest into mush and just rolling it all up into a big ball of mess and just be like, look what I did! I can't eat it anymore though, it's ruined. But yeah, Katamari, I would love to see that as a cereal, that would be so neat. Bomberini TV, pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Yes, but it's not my pizza of choice. If somebody were to offer me a slice and it had pineapple on it, I'd eat it, because I don't mind it. However, if there were 3 pizzas in front of me and 2 of them weren't pineapple on pizza, I'll most likely choose those. So yes, but it's not my priority of pizza flavours. So I don't know, it's a lazy yes. Desroin says, Wonder Boy or Zelda, what's more awesome? Wonder Boy, because there is so much untapped potential in that. We've seen what happens with Zelda when you take it to many different varieties. We've seen it being done in 2-dimensional, we've seen it being done in isometric, we've seen it being done in 3D space, we've seen it being done in open world, we've seen it being done in a Skyrim-esque setting. We've seen Zelda being done in so many different ways, the potential's starting to run out. There's only so much you can do. Wonder Boy has only ever been in a 2D adventure. And I'm sitting here thinking, what would happen if you threw Wonder Boy into 3D? What would happen if you threw Wonder Boy into isometric? I'm sitting here thinking of so much potential, what could be done. Wonder Boy has more to offer than Zelda. So Wonder Boy, because currently I find it way more fascinating than Zelda, and I feel as though the potential of Wonder Boy is greater than Zelda right now. At the moment, you never know what the next Zelda game might bring. Outrunner says, I ran out of ideas for questions on this stuff long ago. Laughter. I got nothing, except maybe, I don't know, who is a Sega character who never had their own game you would have liked to seen get one in the past or now? I think you get the gist of that despite my dyslexic mind. A Sega character that never got a game. This is silly and a bit of a joke, but I'd still play it. Get Jeffrey from Virtua Fighter and give him a fishing game. Not fishing as in like fucking Big from Sonic Adventure or Sega Bass Fishing. I mean real fucking fishing. Like, he's on his little boat, he's got a harpoon in his hand, and he jumps out of the water and just tackles sharks and crap. Just like, you're wrestling the sea, is what I'm saying. I would like to see an extreme fishing game featuring Jeffrey from Virtua Fighter. That's what I'd like to see. I know technically he's got his own game in Virtua Fighter, but he never starred in a game, did he? Well, none of them did, really, apart from Akira, because he's the poster boy of Virtua Fighter. But yeah, I would like to see Jeffrey get an extreme fishing game. That would make me very happy. Super Nerd UK Gaming says, what Sega games do you think should make a comeback, e.g. sequel or remake? Shit. I would like to see Knights get another game, because that shit is magical, and I miss it. 3 games isn't enough. The original, Christmas, and Journeys isn't enough. We need a 4th one. And for a remake, I already answered earlier on I wanted Shenmue 1 and 2 to be remastered, but okay. Okay, I want this to be remade. I want a Star to be remade for the Saturn. It would be an incredible task, because what they would have to do is hand draw all of the original sprites again in a HD, redraw all the animation, and finish the game, because I found out a lot of that game couldn't be finished because of time problems. So if they could find the original planning for a Star and finish the adventure the way it was meant to be made in HD with beautiful animation colours and just frame to frame perfect animation. And I don't care who doesn't know about a Star, they'll bloody know about it when this remaster comes out. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like a sequel comeback of Knights and or a remaster of a Star. Yes! Sega Scream asks, what is your favourite Sega game that has... Wait, what is your favourite game Sega had nothing to do with? Oh god, this is hard. I don't have a definitive favourite of games. I have a collection of favourites, but there is not one game that I go, yes, this, every day, all day. So I'll give you 3, because I don't have a favourite, but I have a collection of favourites. My first favourite being the original Castlevania, or any of the Castlevanias really, because they're just good games. The Street Fighter franchise, again, any of them, they're just good. And hell, I'll throw Mega Man in there, why not? Because Mega Man kicks ass. So there you go, yeah, quite typical, isn't it, really? I mean, of course, I would choose franchises that are famous and well known, but, you know, there's a reason they're famous and well known, they're bloody good. And the last question, from Sin Spaces, which company, Microsoft, Nintendo or Sony, will fall out of the console industry first? Microsoft. I know a lot of people keep saying it'll be Nintendo, but it won't be, because you gotta think business-wise now. It's not a case of interest, it's a case of business. Nintendo has all the money in the world. They could keep making mistakes until 2050 and they won't go bankrupt. Okay, you've got to understand that. The Switch could be an absolute failure, but they'd still be around. They've got more money than any of these companies. They're set for life, they're not going anywhere. Sony's the same. Sony's gaming division is the only thing keeping them afloat. They would be absolutely insane to disband it. Microsoft, however, aren't doing too well and haven't been for a long time. Even with 360, they were doing all sorts of tricks to get people to pay more because their gaming division was struggling. And you can see the evolution now, because everything they release on Xbox One is playable on PC. I feel as though they've created a net, just in case their console division flops, because, you know, Microsoft floats on their PC hardware sales and their software sales. That's what they live on. Their gaming division isn't their main source of income. It hasn't been for a while, ever since the beginning. So you can see, based on how their behaviour now, through their software, their shifting of market, and what they're planning to do with their hardware, they are shifting away. Well, not totally away, but they're creating safety nets. Just in case. And I don't see Nintendo and Sony doing that. They're fine. They're fine where they are. So I think it'll be Microsoft first that kicks the bucket. But it's not going to happen anytime soon. These three companies are going to be around for a while, but it'll be a long time before one of them says, we've had enough, we're not doing this anymore. But I think the first one to go will be Microsoft. That's all the questions. How long have I been recording this now? God damn, it's been almost an hour. Hot damn. Yeah, god damn, this is going to be a long ass video. God bless you if you managed to sit through all of this, and I hope I got everyone's question. I hope I didn't miss anybody out. If you asked a question that night, day even, it was all day, that survey. If you asked a question, and you know you asked a question, and I didn't answer it, or talk about it all here, put it in the comments. Because I feel bad, because I swear I got everybody, but there's a chance I messed up. Okay, I hope, you know, have a good year. Hope 2018 doesn't kill us all. Hope the answers I gave you were satisfactory. And I guess that's it. I'll see you in the next 6 months when I do this during the summer. Hopefully. Bye bye.